Okay, so I wanted to make this video because I have made previous videos going over the improvements that Grand Cross can make to the game to make it better, to make it more free-to-play friendly, whatever the case may be, beginner friendly if you want to put it like that. But I made a couple videos before going over this, so I'm gonna make this one because I feel like this is actually a pretty big thing. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, hit that sub button. Trying to reach 7K subscribers by the end of the year, so I hope you can help me out with that. It would be greatly appreciative if you could. But yeah, so this is one thing that I think they could do, and it would make it a very good very good change for the whole entire player base. So what I'm talking about is gear. Gear is a pretty big thing in this game because you do need gear. Like, you cannot go play this game without gear. You need it, right? It is what it is. You need gear. So for that, you unfortunately you need to grind up anvils, and you also need to grind up awakening stones, hammers, and all that good stuff, right? So I think what they could do for this is they could make the simplest change, and that is, you see how all of these are at 3%, right? I think that they could just have it to where you can choose to have it at 3%. I genuinely feel like if they could let you choose to have all 5 of these at 3%, like, you can just go to the stat, click whether you want it at 3% or not, that would be the best change in the world, because then you wouldn't have to keep re-rolling, right? It wouldn't take so much material. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, they could make it expensive. I feel like that'd be a good balance for you choosing the 3% for all 5, or like let's say for all 5 of these to be 3% automatically, you would have to give them 1,200 anvils, right? Boom, that's it. I feel like that actually would be fair. I'm not even gonna lie, I feel like that actually would be fair, because you are getting this at 3%, and this is a big thing, by the way, right? This is a very big thing. So like all of these have, okay, I was gonna say, what are my equipment stats at? But yeah, so if you choose like for the HP stats to be at 3% for all 5 of them, again, another 1,200, and maybe they could go light and make it like 700, but it wouldn't be cheap. It definitely wouldn't be cheap for anything. But yeah, I definitely feel like they could easily make that change, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, right? They definitely could do that. Would that make hammers irrelevant? No, because if you don't have the amount that you would be able to get to 3%, let's say you have, I don't know, let's say you have 800 out of the 1,200 you need, right? And you can only get 3, and then this one's 2.7. Then you could use the hammers to go up and up. So I feel like that would be good. Same thing with this. You can just choose for this to be at max, because it would really take a big strain off of players for making gear. And again, like I said, gear is really essential to this game because you need gear. You just need it. You need it for high-end content. You need it for PvP. Like, you need gear. It is what it is, right? There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. But I do feel like for the majority of people, like, that change would be very good. Like, that would be a very solid change. I know when I made my 7 constellations video, a lot of people agreed with me on that. They said that it needs to be changed, revamped, or just taken out completely, if they're not going to do change anything with that. So a lot of people were on board with that. And there was another video that I can't I can't think of now, but there was another video where I suggested a change, and people were on board with that as well. So this, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be on board with as well, because the gear, again, is a really big part to the game. So a lot of people are probably going to be on board saying, yeah, there needs to be changes to the gear, to the gear making process, equipment. Maybe they can have it that you can buy maxed out SSR equipment in a shop that has the substats already maxed out or something like that. Like, they could have that, something like, they could just do something, man. Like, they need to do something with the gear. It's going on for global, it's going on year 2. Like, it's actually going on 2 years since the game released, and on JP it's going on 3. And like, it's time. It's time to change up the equipment process and how it's how it's been handled. They have changed it in the past, right? They actually have changed it in the past. where you know, before, oh my god, if you guys, oh my lord, if you guys are veteran players, you know how terrible the equipment process was, like grinding and stuff like that. That was horrible, because they didn't have, you could change all these at once, right? They didn't have where you could actually change every single substat at once. You had to individually change the substat until it was wherever you wanted it at, right? You had to individually change the substat. Man, that was horrible. And the speed was so bad. Like, it was so bad, man. It was so bad. Before anvils were introduced, you had to use gems, which I don't even know why this is still an option to do, right? You had to use gems to change the substat. There were no anvils in the beginning of the game. You actually had to change it with gems. Like that, like, that's crazy. And then the hammers, there were no hammers either. So if you were stuck, like for example, if you were stuck at 2.5, you had to re-roll with the anvil. There was no hammer. Like, there was no hammers, so you couldn't get it to like 2.7 or 2.8. You had to re-roll until it was good. So like, they have improved it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there has been improvements to the gear, you know, to the equipment, the whatever the gear you want, whatever you want to call it, right? They improved it, but they definitely need to make it to where it's a lot more easy for, you know, beginners, everybody, honestly, everybody, for them to go ahead and make equipment. Because again, you want to play the game, you know, you're like, all right, now I want to play the game more serious. Well, good luck, because you need to get gear for a lot of characters. The good thing though is that when you make gear for Meliodas, right, the gear is for every single Meliodas. There is not, like, that is the good thing, right? I'm not gonna lie. So once you make gear for Meli, you're done. Unless you really feel like you have to make another set for Meli, you're done. So for me, I have attack and crit damage. I don't need to make another attack and crit damage set for any of the Meliodas, because they all share the same thing, right? Same thing if I make an HP and defense set for him as well. Like, they share the same thing. If I do it for Diane, share the same thing. Bond, share the same thing. And I actually do have a lot of equipment made for characters, right? Because I do have gear for Meli, gear for Diane, gear for Bond, gear for King, gear for Gowther, gear for Merlin. I'm not making gear for Gil Thunder. Then we just skip over these irrelevant characters, right? We just keep going. We keep going. Elizabeth I have gear for. Arthur I have gear for. Matrona I have gear for, right? Escanor. So yeah, once you make a gear set for a character, if they share the same, like, well, pretty much if they're the same character, they're gonna have the gear set shared between them. So that is good, right? That is the good thing about making UR gear for characters and stuff like that. They do share the same one with each character. I think the only, I don't know if they're I'm trying to think. I don't know, like, if there's an actual difference, because every single character that shares the same, like, character will always have the gear between them, right? I don't think there's a difference between anything. If that makes sense. I don't think, like, okay, for example, I don't think that if Estarossa, right, for him, if Festool Estarossa comes out, they're gonna share the same gear set. So yeah, right. I mean, if Mael comes out, he is not gonna share the same set as Estarossa, because they are different people, question mark, I guess, right? Technically they're different people, personas, whatever, right? But he's not going to share the same equipment that I have for my Estarossa. If Mael actually does drop, he's not going to share the same set at all, because he's different, right? Even though technically they're the same person, he's different. Same thing with Liz. Liz is the same exact way. So if we go to where is Liz, right? We go to Liz, she doesn't share Elizabeth's equipment, because she's a different person technically, right? Even though she, you know, is pretty much basically Elizabeth, she does not share the same thing, right? She does not share the same one, because she is a different person. So that's the only real big difference. Like, if they're different in entities, I guess, right? I guess you could say, right? Then yeah, they won't share the same ones. So I'm sure once we get Demon King possessed Meli, he's not going to have the same equipment as this Meliodas right here. He's not. All right, he's just not gonna have the same equipment, but they definitely need to do something to make the equipment process a lot easier and accessible to newer players. But with that said, I'm gonna end the video because my dog's waking up, so he's gonna interrupt me anyway. So yeah, but let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? I'm sure a lot of you are gonna agree, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And yeah, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching.